So, tell me about your setup right now.
You take them?
Yeah. You switched over to Pro Tools now, right?
Yeah. When I first started, when I did music for 2 Madre, I did that at school. So I was using ADATs, and then when I moved in here permanently in like 1990. I was living here before that, but 99 is when I moved in like full time after I graduated. So I had to build a studio, and at the time, Pro Tools was starting to become popular, but it wasn't proven yet. Like, it still sounded real thin and shit. And I was used to working in studios up at school in advance, like with tape machines, like ADATs and shit. So I went to Sam Ash, and they suggested these right here, these DA88s.
Oh, right, the Tascams.
Tascam, DA38s. And I did 3 albums in this. I did Whoop Ass Pimps and Sick of Being Rich. I had another one. I had 2 of them. But Bottle of Whoop Ass, the masters got destroyed because this was defective, like when I bought it. And when the head broke.
The Tascam one?
The Tascam was new. I bought it and it was defective. And it made defective tapes. So when the head finally broke and I got it fixed, the tape wouldn't play in any normal system. And I was just so frustrated by it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost that whole album. You know, like all the masters for Whoop Ass. And then when I was doing Sick of Being Rich, like shit like with King T, like he would send me an acapella for choir practice, and I have to like sample the acapella and fly it in by hand. And it was just getting real hard to, to do shit. You know, like in I just felt like I had to step up. I'm not really a computer dude, but I felt like I had to step up and kind of upgrade to make things a little easier. You know, I was getting a lot of outside production where people be like, yo, I'll send you the files. It would be much easier. So a friend of mine was selling the system. He sold me this whole system for like $1,400 2 years ago. It's just, it's just a Mac, Digi, what is this, the old one? You know what I'm saying? It's OS X. And, just a simple Pro Tools setup, but it made life a lot easier for me. So I've been using Pro Tools for about 2 years now. The first thing I did on that was that Akinelli record. That's why the mix sounds so weird, because I didn't learn how to, I was just learning how to use it. And then I did Job Ain't Nothing But Work on Pro Tools.
The Ak joint, you mean the one you did with the one that came out on EC? Yeah,
I did 2 joints on there, and that was like Mighty Mai and Akinelli gave me the session on a Wednesday, and I had to hand it in on Saturday, and I got Pro Tools that Wednesday, and I had 3 days to learn this entire system and mix the record. And it was a nightmare. Like, I was doing like 16-hour days down here trying to figure it out. And when you listen to the records, like, the mix is kind of bad. Like, there's a lot of reverb on the shit, because when you first get something, you just toy around with it. So you see all these effects, you start over compressing, adding reverb. So that was like my first. That was really like my first. I kind of learned trial by fire with that, and I started working on Job Ain't Nothing But Work, and that was my first Pro Tools project, and ever since then I've been using that. So I don't have no crazy plugins. I just have the basic setup. I still run everything through the analog board. The board still shorts out, it fizzes out. This is an old ass board from '93. So I still have the analog and the hiss and the shit, and then I run the MPC through the board. I have my 8 outs on my MPC coming up through the board, and then I kind of bus them, and the bus goes to the computer. And if I load up a beat, I just run it through here and bust it to the computer.
Now, there's 8 outs on the MPC, but you can actually record a lot more than 8 tracks now that you have Pro Tools.
Yeah, well, you do multiple passes. Because even on the computer, you can only do like 6 or 7 at a time anyway, because for some reason, if I use my stereo tracks, they bleed. So I do 6 at a time. And I just do multiple passes. Like, I won't even use MIDI anymore because it would lose count. So I just lay it in and do it by ear, and then I just move around. Like, I'm so used to doing shit the hard way anyway, using tape machines, that Pro Tools is easy. So I won't even use MIDI at all. Like, even with my keyboards.
So how do you sequence your drum tracks?
Everything's done in the MPC. Like, I do everything in the MPC.
Oh, so you can synchronize and quantize everything within the machine. You don't even need the MIDI.
I don't need the computer. I just dump it. I just do everything in here and dump it. And then I still use all my outboard gear. I got like a tube compressor right here. Like, gives it like a warm sound. I don't really use this effects unit anymore, but I still have it. I got like a DAT, a standalone burner. Like, I still keep the patch bay. Like, I still keep a lot of my old gear. Just because I'm an old school dude, like I can't go all 100% digital. But you know, I got a CDJ, the regular turntable. I had the same Gemini Scratchmaster mixer since like '98. Like I never changed it. The fade is busted, and when I'm cutting, you can hear the static and shit. And I'm an ain't broke, don't fix it kind of dude. Like I got Pro Tools out of necessity, but everything else is just straight up old school. Like everything, you know, I still use all the old outboard shit, zip drives. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much how, you know, how I work my shit. Then even when I do vocals, I don't have a vocal booth. When I said Pimp Palace East, we wouldn't even have a vocal booth. I was being real. Like I just set up a mic stand right here.
I mean, you have enough soundproof, and it's
yeah. Like I got a mic stand back there. I bring it out, I put it here, and I just turn the monitors off, and I just record right here. Like I hold the.
You need to tell people upstairs to shut up and stuff like that.
Well, you could hear my grandmother talking through the floor, but it doesn't pick up in the mic. Like none of that shit picks up. Like I think that me personally, I'm not no like super engineer, but I think that like mic vocal booths are overrated.
Yeah.
Because you look at, I think Outkast.
I remember going to like Maya's house and like
Maya used the closet. You know what I'm saying? Like in Outkast, one of the albums, I think it was Aquemini or some shit, or it might have been ATLians. Like they did vocals in a bathroom, and like it doesn't matter. Like when I'm doing vocals, I just pop the mic right here, turn the monitors off, and do it. And I just, you know, I hit start on the computer, stand right here, read it, and I just rock. You know what I'm saying? And I do it that way, and people laugh. You know, people come down like, that's your vocal booth. But I mean, realistically, you don't need to do all that kind of stuff. You know, nowadays with editing and Pro Tools and all the plugins you have, you know, you can make a good sounding record without having all that other stuff. And like the days of studios is obsolete. Like everybody's building home studios now. So
D&D's closed, Green Street's closed.
All the studios are closed.
Hit Factory's closed. I mean, if the white people don't even need studios, and who does?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm doing everything out the crib. You know, ever since I left school. And then, you know, I worked in studios coming up all through high school, all through college. And over the years, I saw, you know, business decline. When I started interning with Vance Wright in like '94, I was doing sessions every day. I was like 17 years old, doing a weekend session, pulling in like $300–400, and then just blowing it all record shopping the next day at the Roosevelt conventions. You know what I'm saying? But then the next 2 years, business just declined. You know, and then when I went to Purchase, I interned at Unique, which is in Times Square. I saw they were doing like the Noriega album at the time, and you know, I think Tragedy was doing a record. Different records were being done at the time, but even when I was there for like a couple of months, like the sessions were declining, and by the time I graduated college, it was like it doesn't make sense to work, you know, to go to, you know, audio school and then you know, work at one of these studios and being in, because engineers get paid nothing. Either you get paid a lot of money or nothing. Like if you're just an average engineer, you're gonna be making some $5 an hour shit. So to sit there and deal with the egos and the entourages and all that, and then nobody's even booking time no more. Everybody's doing shit at home. And then there was a point where people were recording at home, but then using studios to mix. But now you just call an engineer to come to your house and mix here for you. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to, you know, do the mixes, effective mixes for my stuff. So I'm not paying anybody. I'm just doing everything at home. So, you know, that shit is pretty much obsolete. I mean, all that other shit. I mean, I get it. I did 4 or 5 albums in this place just like this, you know. And the first 2 albums, Pimps and Whoop Ass, I had less than this. You know what I'm saying? Like I had one compressor and, you know, D88, and I didn't have any Pro Tools. And you know, every year I get another piece of gear, and the sound quality gets better. But you know, you can still make product. You know, we're in the era of downloading and MP3s and shitty sounding shit. So you can, you know, to spend 10, 20 G's in a studio makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean, is there any reason like you would resent that the sound quality has gone down? I mean, artistic quality is one thing, but then like what about the actual quality of like the sound recording?
Well, on a lot of independent records, the sound quality is bad. But, you know, and the downside of studios is not anybody can make a record. That's the problem. Like, if you have the money to get Pro Tools, you know, you can easily just do some shit and then put it on the internet or press a CDR or do whatever. And now the quality control is crazy. Like when I first came out, there was only like 20, 30 independent records out. Now I'm competing with like 150 dudes, you know what I'm saying, on the shelf. And with the technology going up, a lot of the quality control went down because there's so much. Now everybody can get something in their house. And, you know, people have setups in their bedroom and just do shit. Not everybody's making
you
shit.
They have Xbox programs where you can.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, now you got people that just have no talent whatsoever making records, and it just, you know, that kind of killed it with all the going crazy with the gear and shit. Has something to do with that. But you know, but for people who know how to use the stuff, it helps out. You know, because we don't have to use all our money in the studio. And half the time when I was engineering sessions, they pay for 8 hours and 4 hours would be used waiting for the motherfuckers to show up. And they, you know, have hoes in the studio and get food and shit and play video games, and the label's paying for that. And then when your royalty check looks small, you're like, huh. That's why I was like, I learned from watching all the years in the studios and the years I worked at record labels, interning, all that shit. I just soaked it up, and I was like, I'm just gonna get my own studio, press my own shit, do my own shit independent, have nobody, when I'm working, nobody's here. I don't have no bitches in here, I don't have no friends in here, no entourages. I work by myself. I work from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the basement. Nobody's here, nobody bothers me. And that's why I'm able to get an album done every year, because like I just, you just get into a zone and you just cut out all that other shit. And when you have a home setup, it enables you to just sit here and not worry about this person got to show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got to wait for the engineer to do this. I do everything on my own time, and I'm able effective.
You said you stop at 3 p.m. and you start at 6:30, and that's a pretty early riser.
I wake up. I'm not an average hip hop dude. I'm in bed by like after whatever the late game is on TV. Bed right after. Like I usually go to bed anywhere between 10:30 p.m. and 1 a.m. Like I'm out. Like I'm not an up all night kind of person. I'm an early bird. Like I get up at 6 in the morning. I do my exercise for my back, my workouts, and I check my emails, and then I get down here and just start cracking. And if I'm working on an album, I'll put in like 7 or 8 hour days. I finish up 2, 3 o'clock, go run my errands, and then go catch a high school basketball game or something. And then that's my day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my schedule. That's my routine. Like I'm not with that 4 a.m. let's order Chinese takeout and sit in the studio and bullshit and get high. Like I'm trying to finish records and make money, you know what I'm saying? And I still have fun. I mean, the way I do it is a square way of doing it. You would think by listening to my records that I have a party down here. But it's not like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't have a whole bunch of that shit around me when I'm trying to finish shit. So
the party's in your head, that's what it is.
Yeah, well, the party's in my, you know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying making these records. You know, and I have my fun when I go on the road. I have my fun when I'm writing the songs. I have my fun when I'm doing the interviews and promoting the shit. But when I'm actually recording, you know, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but my process is business. Like people think because I'm a joker and everything on records that I take my craft as a joke, but I mean I take it serious. I get down here every morning 6, 7 in the morning, and I just work all. I don't answer the phone. I shut the door, and I just work. And
I think people can tell from your, you know, the quality of your production that obviously there's quite a bit of work that goes into it. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you just. I enjoy doing this, so it's not like a job to me, even though I keep office hours. Like I work a 9 to 5 schedule, but as long as I'm doing something I like, that's fine. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not trying. I've never since I've been here been down here at 4 a.m. doing a beat. Like, it just doesn't happen. But you can catch me at 7 a.m. doing a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm working, I'm just in the zone, and I'm not really high or drunk or anything. Like I've been drunk a few times on my records, as you could tell, when I was doing vocals and shit. But for the most part, I'm just pretty much like I work a square schedule when I'm doing my shit, you know, because I want to get my shit done. And
well, the aspect of hip hop producer is a lot more cerebral than the act of a hip hop lyricist. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, I do both, so people, you know.
Well, that's what makes it rare.
And I do like, you know, more funny, like entertaining style of rap. So people would assume that.
I mean, you could be like Eric Sermon and you have good beats, but then you're real monotone on the mic, you know.
This is an E-double-4, man.
Yeah. They used to call me E-double in high school.
Oh, man, crazy.
All right. I'm going to change the bad tape and we're going to get down some questions, all right?
Okay.
So, hold on.